All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating, honestly pretty aggressive critique of modern consumer culture. You know the drill. We live in a world where you can grab a brand new phone with a single tap and figure out how to pay for it over the next 12 months. Well, the source material we're looking at today completely flips that script. It challenges this whole credit-fueled lifestyle we've kind of just accepted as normal. It's not just looking at what we buy, but the mental gymnastics and psychological loops we get stuck in when we demand things right now. We're going to dive deep into that friction between what we want, how we actually pay for it, and the long-term toll it takes on our overall well-being.
And wow, this source material absolutely does not pull its punches. Listen to this. It directly calls out the whole concept of equated monthly installments, EMIs, labeling this entire buy now, pay later culture as literally the bane of society. It totally rejects the idea that credit is just some handy modern convenience. Instead, it frames this whole instant gratification machine as a deliberate, predatory trick. It's a really bold stance, right? It forces us to take a hard look at everyday financial decisions that most of us make without batting an eye.
So I want you to keep this central question rolling around in the back of your mind as we go through this. Is modern credit a genuinely helpful tool, or is it a predatory trap? Are these financial products actually democratizing access to a better lifestyle, or are they, subtly locking consumers into this endless treadmill of dependency? Well, let's let the text guide us through the actual nuts and bolts of modern lending to find out.
Section 1. The instant gratification, Mirage, the illusion of prosperity.
Let's unpack this psychological mirage. We are constantly bombarded by marketing that tells us, hey, you deserve this right now, pushing us to buy things we straight up don't have the cash for. The source argues this immediate access creates a literal illusion. Think about it. Because you can physically hold that new phone or drive off in that shiny car, you genuinely feel prosperous. But it's a mirage fueled by a relentless marketing machine. It successfully hotwires the human brain into feeling wealthy, totally bypassing the need for the actual bank balance to back it up.
Section 2. The vicious debt cycle. The hidden cost of paying later.
Okay, so what happens when that initial dopamine hit fades? The text outlines this continuous, almost inescapable loop. Step 1 feels totally innocent. You buy something on credit, you get the immediate reward. Awesome. But step 2 is where the trap actually snaps shut, locking you into a long-term debt cycle. And by step 3, the grim reality hits. You're working longer hours, taking on way more stress, not to get ahead or save for the future, but literally just to service the debt of your past desires. Every ounce of effort you put in today, it's already owned by the purchases you made yesterday.
And looking at it from this angle, the final destination of this cycle isn't freedom or the good life at all. It's severe emotional and financial stress. The source is incredibly clear here. The cost isn't just on a spreadsheet, it is deeply psychological. The mental burden of owing massive chunks of your future labor to a bank creates this suffocating cage. It breeds profound anxiety. People end up feeling completely trapped by the exact same lifestyle upgrades that were supposed to make them happy in the first place.
Section 3. The predatory lending argument. Monetizing a lack of discipline.
This brings us to a really harsh evaluation of the lenders themselves. The critics in our source material argue that these companies deliberately make it far too easy to slip into debt. They aren't seen as helpful facilitators throwing you a rope to climb up, not at all. They are defined strictly as predatory entities. The core argument is that their entire business model is built around and heavily monetizes the average person's lack of financial discipline. They don't want you to pay it off right away. They are literally banking on human nature, making it impossible to resist instant rewards.
And the mechanics they use are famously, deliberately opaque. We aren't just talking about standard loan interest here. Oh no, they're actively cashing in on your mistakes through a massive gauntlet of late fees, buried terms, and insanely complex interest calculations. The text argues the game is rigged to confuse you. The implication is that these agreements are crafted so the house always wins, ensuring you end up paying vastly more than whatever the sticker price originally was.
What's even wilder is who they go after. The argument emphasizes that this buy now, pay later allure is laser-targeted to exploit people who desperately want a lifestyle they just can't afford yet. They zero in on the financially vulnerable. The marketing essentially preys on that very human emotional gap between the life you have today and the life you want tomorrow, dangling easy credit as a quick-fix bridge between the two.
Section 4. Needs versus wants. The traditional counterargument.
To balance this out, the text pivots to a much more traditional financial philosophy. Listen to this contrasting view. We should work hard and pay for the things that are necessary and a need of the day. It's a strict, very old-school approach. You earn the money first, You set a budget and you buy it outright. No exceptions. This is the bedrock of traditional personal finance. It essentially demands we reject the mirage of credit entirely and let our actual current bank balance dictate how we live. If you haven't earned the cash, you just don't buy the thing.
Now, to pull this off, you have to be brutally honest with yourself about the difference between a true necessity and a lifestyle desire. On the left side, we have actual needs, basic transportation to get to work, a standard roof over your head. On the right side, the wants, the luxury trim on that car, or a massive house that pushes your budget to the absolute breaking point. The text argues that the financial industry actively blurs the line between these two columns, and falling for that blur is exactly what gets people into deep trouble. So, the crucial shift here is moving from instant gratification over to delayed gratification. Instant gratification is just temporary convenience, totally financed by your future self's sweat and tears. Delayed gratification, on the other hand, means waiting. It means discipline and saving. But the payoff? When you finally buy that item, you own it free and clear. It's a reward secured through hard work and planning, rather than an anchor dragging you down in debt.
Section 5. Building financial resilience, the long-term outcome of discipline.
So what's the actual payoff for all this patience? Well, the counter-argument stresses that by sticking to this disciplined path, you basically build an impenetrable financial fortress. Instead of a mountain of IOUs, you actually accumulate tangible assets. You gain total control over your money, plus you're infinitely better prepared when life throws you a curveball, like a medical emergency or a bad economy. And as the text beautifully points out, the actual process of waiting and saving makes you appreciate the things you buy so much more.
Ultimately, and I find this absolutely fascinating, the text argues this isn't really just about money. It's about personal growth. The practice of separating needs from wants, of patiently saving up, of having the willpower to look a predatory credit offer in the eye and say no, is presented as a profound character-building exercise. It molds you into a more responsible, deeply resilient person who can handle whatever storms life throws your way.
As we wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with a question to kind of test your own financial philosophy. Think back to the last major thing you bought. Seriously, think about it right now. Did you earn the money first, or did you borrow from tomorrow to have it today? Understanding that difference and recognizing the hidden psychological costs attached to it, well, that's step one toward genuine financial clarity. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this text today. Keep questioning that mirage.